Alright, so it says graph each of the following functions, so I need to graph f of x equal to 1/2 x squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly draw my parent function, which I'm just going to mark with x's instead of actual points because these are not going to be my final resting places. Alright, and then I see that I've got a 1/2 for my a, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to multiply my y's by a. Well, my y coordinate of 0, 0 is just 0. Multiplying that by 1/2 is actually just going to keep that point right there. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and change my color so that way I can see that a little bit more clearly as well. I am going to go ahead and multiply my particular value of 1, 1. Multiply that y value by 1/2 is going to put me at 1/2 y value wise. My next one I'm going to multiply. I've got 2, 4 right now. Multiplying my y's by 1/2, that's actually going to take me out to 2. My next point would have been at 3, 9. Multiplying that 9 by 1/2 would actually get me 4.5, so 4.5. And this time I can actually graph that out. Nifty. My next one would be 4, 16. 4 squared would be 16. Dividing that in half would actually get me to 8, which is about 1 too big. And I do the same thing on the other side. My y values are the same on the other side of my axis as it is here. Alright, so I can just reflect those across. And I can go ahead and graph this mess. Alright, so what ended up happening is we ended up having an a that is smaller than 1. So what transformation actually just happened here is that we had a vertical shrink. And it's vertical because it affected the y values. Anything quote unquote outside your function is going to affect your y values. So inside would be inside with the x. So if I saw anything inside the parentheses, for example, on my original vertex form, that would affect your x values. Anything not in the parentheses, quote unquote, the outside, aka a and k, are going to affect your y values. Alright, so next one, again, I'm just going to mark very lightly. My parent function should be at 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9. Alright, so there's my vertical, or my parent function. And then now I'm going to multiply my y's by -2. So right now my point of 0, 0 is multiplied by -2. My y value is still going to be 0. Cool. My next point I've got is 1, 1. Multiplying my y value by -2. I should get 1, -2. And then taking my 2, 4, multiplying it by -2, it's actually going to get me -8. And then my y values are the same on the other side of my graph, so I can actually just reflect that across. Bada bing, bada boom. So all I can do is reflect those across my axis of symmetry. So, axis of symmetry, this one did not have any shifts left or right on either one of these, so my axis of symmetry on both of them would be at x equals 0. So how I represent that is I go ahead and I put a dashy line at x equals 0. and I move on with my life. Moving on, I see I should list my transformations on B. Now looking at this, I noticed that it kind of goes from going to be a bowl shape to being a hill shape. So the reason why that is because there is a negative. A negative on the outside is going to flip over the x-axis. And then my 2 on the outside actually made it be a vertical stretch of 2 this time. And that's it. Now we really can move on to the next problem, not just with our lives.